Hey cuties, welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello if you are new. When I was learning to crochet, my brain had to work overtime trying to invert instructions that I saw because I'm left-handed. I figured I should make a guide I wish I had when I was first learning to crochet, which is what we have here today. We will cover 3 main stitches: single crochet, double crochet, and triple crochet. We will also cover the fundamentals such as slip knots, foundation chains, and how to hold the hook and yarn. Each of these will have their own separate quick guide video you can reference for when you just need a quick reminder, but this is a slower, more in-depth beginner guide to crocheting as a lefty. The first step to every project is the slip knot. Hold the end of the yarn with your right hand. Hold the yarn in place with your thumb, index finger, and middle finger. With the left hand, wrap the yarn around your index finger and middle finger, crossing over the yarn and creating a little X. Push the yarn into the loop you created and pull. To know if you did it right, the loop should tighten around the hook when you pull the yarn like this. Since we have our hooks in hand, let's go over how to hold the hook. Here I have an 8mm hook. As a beginner, I recommend using a hook about this size to learn. My most used hooks are my 5mm and 4mm hook. I use what is called the knife hold. I hold my hooks the same way I hold a knife. I put my thumb on the underside, then have the rest of my fingers on top. I use my pointer finger to control the yarn, which you will see later in the video. To hold the yarn, I loop up and around my index finger and use my thumb and middle finger to kind of hold the loop that's around the hook. The next step to every project is the foundation chain. This forms the foundation of your project and will eventually drive you crazy because you have to make sure you count the chain correctly when you're working on a project. You loop the yarn that is on your index finger around the hook with your right hand. This is called yarning over. Then, with the hook, you pull that yarn through the loop that is on your hook. We have just made our first chain. You will see I readjust my thumb and middle finger to hold the loop closer to the chain. We do the exact same thing for the next chain. You loop the yarn that is on your index finger around the hook with your right hand. Then, with the hook, you pull that yarn through the loop that is on your hook. Then you just keep doing this until you reach however many chains you need. Wrap the yarn around the hook, pull the yarn through the loop. This is how I'm holding the yarn and the chain as I'm working. I'm using the rest of my fingers to hold the chain in place and pressing it to my palm. The best part about crochet is that it's very forgiving. If you ever make a mistake or you want to restart, you just pull the yarn like this. Once you have finished the foundation chain, you can start working on the project using your chosen stitch. Single crochet is the most basic stitch. It is the neatest and works up with the least gaps. However, it works up very slowly, so it may not be the best stitch for a large project like a blanket. When you see your foundation chain, you should see each chain creates a little V. Insert your hook into the first V, being mindful to not insert into the chain that is around your hook. Notice how I use my right middle finger to help guide my hook into the right V. I then use my right thumb and middle finger to hold the yarn. Yarn over, pull the yarn through. You should have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull the yarn through both loops. You have just done your first single crochet. Then you do it again in the next V on the foundation chain. Insert your hook into the chain, yarn over, pull through. You should have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. When you're learning, it can be a bit hard to know which is the first stitch in the row. I recommend using a stitch marker for the first stitch of each row to help. Alternatively, you can count your stitches after each row, but I find this really annoying. When we get to the end of a row, we chain 1. This makes it easier to move the hook and project around for the next row. We then turn our work. Then do the same thing with the stitches we just made. Look for the V, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Here I'm counting I did the correct amount of stitches. When you keep going, your rows will look like this, tight with minimal gaps. Half double crochet works up slightly taller stitches than single crochet, so it also creates bigger gaps. I use half double crochet when I want to finish a project fast but don't want really big gaps. We start half double crochet the same way as single crochet with a slip knot, then a foundation chain. To half double crochet, wrap the yarn around the hook using your left hand. Insert the hook into the second V from the hook. With your right hand, wrap the yarn around the hook. Pull the yarn through the loop. You should have 3 loops on your hook. Wrap the yarn over the hook and pull it through all 3 loops. That is your first half double crochet. We yarn over, insert the hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull the hook through the loop. There should be 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull the yarn through all 3 loops. Yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 3. Keep going until you reach the end of the row. Chain, turn your work, count your stitches to make sure you haven't missed any, and then you do it again. Our last stitch of the day is the double crochet. This stitch is about the same height as 2 single crochets. It works up fast but with pretty noticeable gaps. The perfect stitch if you're impatient. We always start the same way, with a slip knot and a foundation chain. With double crochet, you want to add 2 extra chains to your foundation as this will act as the first double crochet. You wrap the yarn around the hook, insert your hook into the 3rd chain from the hook. Wrap the yarn around the hook. Pull the yarn through the first loop. There should be 3 loops on the hook. Wrap the yarn around the hook. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. There should be 2 loops left on the hook. Wrap the yarn around the hook and pull through the last 2 loops. This is your double crochet. As you can see, these 2 extra chains are the first double crochet. Again, it's yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm going to show you 2 ways to start the next double crochet row. When you get to the end of your row, you chain 2 and turn your work. This first chain will be your first double crochet, meaning you want to insert your hook into the second stitch. I recommend using a stitch marker to count your stitches as it can be a bit hard to notice the first chain when you're working up your rows. Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now that we are at the end of another row, let's learn the stacked single crochet. Turn your work. Do a single crochet into the first stitch. Then insert your hook into the right leg of the single crochet. Now you just finish off the single crochet. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2. It's basically just 2 single crochets stacked on top of each other. That is the stacked single crochet. It counts as your first double crochet. I think it looks better than the chain 2 and is easier to notice as the last stitch when you're mindlessly working up your rows. Then you just keep going with regular double crochet to finish out your row. that is my ultimate beginner guide for lefties. Please let me know if you'd like me to make more tutorial type videos for my left-handed cuties. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want, and I'll see you guys next time.